Tempt. Romance audiobooks. A safe place to explore your dreams.
Chapter 1. Lightning. My eyes darted toward the door. Where is Storm? My cousin Storm's tardiness was so out of character that my fingers trembled as I took a large gulp of tequila. I snorted, thinking about our earlier phone conversation. There was no way in hell she'd actually been serious about me attending this meeting without her. She couldn't be. Not after I'd specifically told her the last time I'd been around Detective Prick I had picked up some weird vibes. His emotional compass was not stable. I would crack under pressure if she weren't here. Shit. I'm already cracking. I wasn't proud to admit it, but I was desperate. I needed her. I frantically tapped out a text message to Storm. Where in the hell are you? I'm not playing, Storm. Get your ass over here now. I waited. No response. What in the hell? Reason Orloff, my bestie and lawyer, pursed her lips with displeasure while drumming her well-manicured nails against her desk. So, Light, let me get this straight. She's not coming to this meeting because she had some emergency? Leaning back into the chair, I tried to refocus my mind by absorbing the sleekness of Reason's pristine Midtown Manhattan office suite. The last time I spoke to her, she sounded panicked, and that's not like her. Reason bent toward me with eyes narrowed, as if she were interrogating me on the witness stand. Her drumming increased. My lips curled up with distaste. Her loud tapping was like fingernails on a chalkboard. Reason, I swear, if you don't stop that, I'm going to fly over this damn desk and fucking cunt punt you. I was already pissed off with Storm for dodging this meeting. I sure as hell didn't need lawyer extraordinaire pumping me for answers I didn't have. Reason flashed her canines. Watch it, Light. I'm not putting up with your mood swings today. Irrationally, my temper flared as I leaned forward. I don't give a flying fuck, vampire. Reason's hazel eyes narrowed with concern. What's up with you lately? She sat back, examining me like a lab rat drumming again. I pointedly stared at her fingers. I'm not fucking kidding. I hissed. I was out of control. I knew it, Reason knew it, and I couldn't rein it in. I wiped my damp forehead with shaky fingers. My empath symptoms were getting worse, and there wasn't shit I could do about it. What had once worked at controlling my intense migraines and wild mood swings, my large consumption of alcohol, was now failing. I tossed back a glass of tequila, gritting my teeth with frustration. My symptoms were making me a nervous wreck, and even worse, I had slowly been alienating everyone I love with my erratic behavior. One minute, I would be bawling my eyes out. The next, I would be dripping with rage. There was no middle ground anymore. It's getting worse, isn't it? Reason's tone softened. You need help, Light. You can't continue down this path without going completely crazy. I didn't flinch at her bluntness. I respected it. That was why she was my best friend, and I loved her like a sister. Our bond had been formed from practically growing up together. Her family, a long line of lawyers, had been handling all my family's legal affairs for centuries. I'm already there, Reason. I swallowed over the bitterness of being the only Credence born as a sensory empath, with the unlucky ability to feel humans' energies and emotions. Storm thinks I can handle this meeting without her. But look at me. I was sweating, as if I'd just run a marathon. My fingers were shaking like a junkie's, and I was yelling like a deranged cast member from a reality show. I won't last 5 minutes in the presence of that detective. He's pure evil. I knew in a matter of seconds after being exposed to him, I'd be overwhelmed by his energy, taking his feelings and losing mine. Reason's eyes widened with alarm. Where is Storm? Is she with Knox? She'd better not be. As much as I was relieved Storm had finally been getting some, from Knox Gunner, rock star hotness, now was not the time for being knee-deep in sweaty sex. We had major issues concerning a detective with a stick stuck up his ass sideways, and the likelihood of me going straitjacket insane. Storm wasn't just my cousin, best friend, and business partner. She was my sanity check from the daily strain of keeping the barrage of human emotions from sending me to crazy land. I was tired of being a burden. I hated I'd been born with the worst luck of all the members in the Credence family. The constant influx of feelings was overwhelming, with no remedy to prevent them from completely making me insane. My family had tried different methods to help. The only two that worked were dulling my senses with alcohol and Storm, soothing me through our bond connection. A few sips of her emotions would put my mind in a neutral, calm state. Reason glowered. Detective Burrows requested a meeting with both of you. It's too damn late to cancel without arising further suspicion. She banged on her desk. Damn it to hell. I can't believe he actually found information on the dead reporter's laptop linking Credence O to Selena's death. I snorted. You and I know that's total bullshit. Someone is framing us. Reason arched a brow. Can you be more specific? Your family has more enemies than friends. I couldn't dispute her point. Despite my family's wealth, we were considered outsiders among others. Wolf shifters, vampires, and assorted supernatural beings who blended in, coexisting with humans, because of our Fey ancestry. I leveled her with an irritated stare. Lacey Gilden. Everyone in the Coven knows the Gildens are ruthless. And it didn't help matters that they were our direct business competitors. Their business would go to great lengths to steal our clients and employees. Lacey was a spiteful, bitter she-wolf who tried everything in her power to ruin our prestigious reputation as Credence Other Corporation. Credence O was secretly New York's most sought-after others escort service, providing over-the-top discreetness and exclusivity to our clients. Clients included other men with a preference for other women, minus all the drama of unnecessary attachments. Our clients demanded the elite of beautiful other women as arm candy when they were in town on business. Reason stared in shock. This is bad. I can't believe all your contracts are missing. Records documenting which client booked which escorts, places, times, agreed upon service fees, all gone. My jaw tensed as I thought about all the information that safe had held. Paper documentation was not my preferred method of doing business, but the contracts we had with our clients were arrangements dating back centuries, when paper had ruled and a physically signed document had been the only thing honored, a practice that was a recipe for disaster in the wrong hands. I don't understand why Storm isn't here yet, Reason said flatly. I rubbed my now throbbing forehead. She'll be here. At least that was what I hoped. I'd been calling her like a stalker, and had still gotten no response, which was totally out of character for her. Reason grabbed my hand, gently rubbing it. Don't worry. Once she gets here, she'll do that weird Fae thing and fix you right up. I can't continue using her as my crutch, I responded. And you can't continue pretending you're resigned to your fate. You'll find a cure like Demi's vision predicted. My mouth flattened at the mention of Demi, the daughter of the Coven High Priestess. Demi was adamant the solution to my empath dilemma was a bringer of death. Due to her erratic personality and unreliable gift for foreseeing future events, her predictions almost never made sense. I love your optimism, but there's no magic Fae wand that's going to save my ass. Reason suggestively wiggled her eyebrows. It could be a man. I rolled my eyes. That's the last thing I need in my life right now. Besides, I'm on a no-sex lockdown. In the beginning, it had been hard to give up something I loved. Sex. But it had become easier as the months had gone by. I didn't need the drama of a man in my life. I was too complicated, too emotional, and definitely too unstable. Red flags that made the possibility of having a long-term relationship simply impossible. Red flags that enabled my habit of discarding men like disposable shavers. I loved sex. Lots of it. And I'd control the who, the when, and the how. That was probably why one of my ex-lovers had endearingly nicknamed me the sex dictator for all my insistence on directing every lick, move, or touch. And like I told him, I wouldn't have had to if he weren't such a hopeless case in bed. Needless to say, he'd stormed out in a huff, leaving me to finish off myself. Quite well, I might add. Maybe that's what you need right now. Someone to take the edge off. I scoffed. No offense, but I'm not interested in dating advice from someone who hasn't had sex in years. She pursed her lips. I'm not willing to settle. What you really mean is you're not willing to settle for getting married to some cold-hearted vampire your father picked. Reason was the black sheep in the family. Her mother was a human and her father was a vampire. Her birth was a shame to her blue blood family, who would do everything in their power to ostracize her. Her father, a powerful and ruthless man, loved her more than life and would do everything in his power to make her fit into the vampire world. But Reason wanted no part of it, totally ignoring his attempts much to his embarrassment. Exactly. He's so obsessed with marrying off his hybrid vampire daughter that he's willing to make a pact with the devil. Besides, I don't need a man. I'm happy being single. I rolled my eyes before saying, uh-huh. I heard Tabitha, Reason's administrative assistant, say in a whiny little bitch voice, "You all can't go in there." My head snapped around and my body quivered with unease as I scooted back into my chair. My unease heightened when my body instantly went on high alert, like a cornered animal. I watched with narrowed eyes as the door slammed open. Storm and Knox burst in, followed by 4 men. My unease increased tenfold when my eyes were drawn to the only man on earth who could simultaneously make my sex clench with lust and my stomach roll with hatred. Ryker Alfero. Why in the hell is he here? His sea-green eyes darted to the empty bottle of tequila sitting in front of me. He snorted with distaste. "Oh, there she is, my beautiful drunk." He held up 2 fingers. "How many fingers am I holding up?" he asked mockingly. I gave him the middle finger. "1. Now fuck off." Today I refused to let him ruffle my feathers like he had at his gala the other night. This was business light, hyper-composed light, fashionable, elegant, in charge light. I'd deliberately chosen to dress the part by wearing my best designer handiwork, a dainty gray petal collar blouse, 5-inch studded black heels, and black pants. "Baby, your dirty little mouth is making me hot," he growled. He sauntered toward me with fire in his eyes. I refused to get up. His gaze locked on me as he trapped me against the chair with his beefy arms. His lips grazed the shell of my ear when he grumbled, "I would love to see what else your dirty little mouth could do." With those few words, I shivered as a surge of energy zipped into my body, unlocking something I didn't understand. My brain started functioning with a clarity I hadn't experienced in years. No warring emotions, just calmness. Good God, this shouldn't be happening, especially not with him. My heart and pulse raced as panic set in. The power snapped like a rubber band, and the dreaded dark emotions came flooding back with a vengeance. Sweat broke out on my forehead while perspiration trickled between my breasts. God, this is going to be a rough fucking ride. My voice was hoarse and ragged. "I'll do my best to break you in slowly, submissive," he hissed, his voice dripping with raw sex. He took my hand, gripping it tight when a jolt of electricity ran through both of us. His thumb caressed my hand. My clit thumped against my panties as an erotic image flashed through my mind. Me on all fours and those big hands all over my body, while he fucked me from behind. When my tongue snaked out to wet my lips, a soft snarl left Riker's mouth. Shit. I was in serious trouble. "Let go." I looked pointedly at our clasped hands. He squeezed mine hard before releasing it. "I guess you know each other." Reason trailed off, looking between the two of us with an arched brow. I made no move to explain. Reason turned a curious gaze to Storm, who shrugged. Reason suddenly cleared her throat. I glanced guiltily at her. She was staring at Ryker and me with a smile on her face, doing absolutely nothing to dismiss the question in her gaze. I was beyond exasperated as I looked at Storm. "You're late, cousin." "Hey, Light, I apologize for being late," Storm muttered while looking at Knox. Something kept coming up. She started to stroll toward me, but Knox pulled her back, pinning her to a side. I truly wanted to choke her for being late, but damn, the girl looked well fucked and happier than I'd ever seen her. Knox nipped Storm's neck. Damn right. I can't help it if my mate makes me rock hard. Storm slapped his arm. Cut the shit, Knox. Mate? I raised a brow. What the hell's going on? Casually, Ryker sat at the edge of Reason's desk and stared at me. He's a wolf shifter. Keep up, darling, he stated dryly. I considered him from head to toe and back again to his hard lips that looked like they rarely smiled, to the scar across his left eyebrow and over to the snake tattoo on the right side of his neck, which completed the don't fuck with me aura. He looked more like a Viking who should be carrying a bloody sword. Storm responded with an overly exaggerated surprise and jazz hands. Completely ignoring her, I shook my head with an uncharacteristic serious air. And who are the three idiots? I glared at the three hulking men standing by the door staring at me in slack-jawed shock. More members of the Wild Kingdom? They were far from beast-like. In fact, all three were handsome, freakishly so. My gaze snapped to Ryker. Those intense green eyes were staring at me in a way that shouldn't have made me want him, but I did. Ryker growled, loud enough that Knox protectively pushed Storm behind him. They're my enforcers, Soar, Rip, and Jackal, Ryker said with eyes locked on me. And darling, if you call me or my pack animals again, I won't be responsible for the next thing I do to your pretty ass. I moaned like a porn star. Like what? Bending me over and giving me a spanking because I've been a bad girl? His mouth tightened. I bit back a smile, taking pleasure in ruffling his feathers. I dug in like the vicious witch I was. Not that I mind a good spanking, but I would prefer my punishment to come from one of your enforcers. It seems I'm more woman than an alpha like you can handle. I sighed playfully while winking at them. He looked at the empty bottle of tequila sitting in front of me. They say you can't judge a book by its cover, but in your case, what you see is exactly what you get. Isn't that right, Tequila Sunrise? My smirk fell. You ass. Ryker smiled, a slow lifting of perfect lips to reveal straight white teeth. When you play with the big dogs, you might get bitten. I was ready with my smart comeback when one of his enforcers stepped forward, grabbing my hand. I'm Rip, he crooned with teeth sparkling. His piercing blue eyes stared at me with interest. Too much for my liking. There was way too much confidence in his surfer guy swagger. He looked like something right out of a fashion magazine. Really? I rolled my eyes, removing my hand from his. My panties will not be dropping for the likes of you, golden boy. He upped the wattage of his smile. I like her. A throat cleared, and the tightly muscled guy with jet black hair cropped in a buzz cut pushed away from the door. He smiled, flashing a dimple as he leisurely but thoroughly studied me. I'm Jackal. He waved his hand over his shoulder and noted dismissively. That's Soar. Soar ran his hand over his short-cropped chestnut hair as his mouth curled downward. Rip puffed his chest, smiling flirtatiously. So, Lightning, are you single? Rip. Ryker's voice was harsh. I laughed at Rip's bold flirting. Through the other rumor mill, I'd heard about Ryker's new enforcers. They didn't look as deadly as others had made them out to be, but looks were sometimes deceiving. I glanced at Ryker, who was glaring at Rip with murder in his eyes. Nice to meet you three. I leaned closer to Rip. And I'm very single. His smile widened as his blue eyes left me and moved to where Ryker was sitting on the edge of the desk. I quickly looked at Storm. Where's Noah? Noah was Storm's friend and an enforcer for the Alfero pack, the largest and toughest New York wolfshifter pack. Rip, Jackal, and Soar looked at Knox with raised brows before loudly clearing their throats. Noah decided to take a position in England, Rip responded. I arched a brow. That was sudden. Storm grumbled. Apparently. Rip, move. Ryker snapped. Blinking innocently, Rip turned to him with a wide smile. Why? If you're not interested, then, Ryker moved from the desk. Rip winked at me before sliding back to take his post by the door. Ryker sat back down and scowled. Wow. Okay. That was intense. Storm mused loudly while pointedly looking at Knox's arms. He released her. She smiled, leaning up to kiss him hard before swaggering over to me. Her eyes narrowed. I knew she could see the frayed emotional walls around my mind. That and the fact that I hadn't slept in days. She softly kissed me on the cheek. You okay? Not with Wolfie all up in my face. Storm looked from me to Ryker and then back to me. Her eyes widened. Oh, I see. I rolled my eyes. No, you don't see because there's nothing to see. Storm smiled cheekily. Why don't you take your own advice and submit? I gritted my teeth. She was throwing back my advice to her about Knox when I encouraged her to give him a chance. Ryker and I were not the same. She knew that. I had issues. And from the smug look on Ryker's face, he did too. I'll deal with you in private, Stormy Credence, I hissed. Storm smiled widely. I'm not scared. Knox came up behind Storm, wrapping his arms around her waist. Come on, baby. He winked at Ryker. Let the alpha play with his new submissive. He pulled her toward the leather sofa while whispering something in her ear. My eyes narrowed on Knox. I did like you, rock star. Now, not so much. Reason leaned back, silently watching us as if we were some horrible experiment gone wrong. I feel like I'm missing something here, and I can't figure out what. I loudly snapped my fingers. You, lawyer girl, we're paying out the ass for you to do lawyer stuff. Close your mouth and do your job. I nodded over at Ryker with his enforcers. Get rid of the Wild Kingdom, and let's get on with business. Reason rolled her eyes. Simmer down, Lightning. My job is to get you out of trouble. It's not to prevent you from getting into it. She stood, strolling over to Storm. I'm so happy for you, baby cakes. She tightly hugged Storm and then sternly eyed Knox. She's one of my best friends, next to Grumpy over there. She nodded toward me. You better treat her good, Shifter. Knox solemnly stared back at her. I will. Reason cracked a smile. Good. I might be a hybrid vampire, but I can still kick your ass. She winked at him before sauntering back to her desk. I crossed my arms. Are you done kissing his ass? She raised her eyebrow before sighing. Are you trying to test my damn patience? No, I'm trying to get you to do your job, I responded snidely. Reason stared at me with a frown before the phone on her desk rang. Yeah? What's up, Tabitha? She answered, hitting the speakerphone. Detective Burrows called. He's running late. Good, because I'm going to need time to rein in the circus. She responded dryly, while looking at me before disconnecting sharply. Oh, wait. Are you actually going to do your job? I snapped. Ryker smiled charmingly as he grabbed a hold of my chair, pulling it in so his huge muscled legs straddled mine. Darling, don't be rude. Adults are talking. When he suddenly leaned in, putting his nose against my neck, I refused to flinch. His appealing aromatic smell of expensive cigars, sandalwood, and rich earth wafted around me. I almost dropped at his feet. I hated myself for this weakness. What is it about the Credence scent that's so alluring? He took another sniff. Is it that rare combination of fae and witch blood? I rolled my eyes. Others were fascinated by the fact that my family were the last of the fae, mystical others with the ability to wield great power and magic. Credence scent? God, he is such an ass. I bit back the hysterical bubble of laughter at his cocky, sexy smile. I was positive that smile had countless women, others and humans, melting at his feet. It was like I was some trophy he wanted to mount on his fucking wall. He thought I was some game, and fucking me would be his grand prize. I saw the eerily familiar predatory look in his eyes. It was the same predatory stare I would give to men I was determined to sample to scratch my sexual itch. I arched a brow at him. Oh, Wolfie is in for a rude awakening. I wasn't interested in the bullshit he was selling, and he needed to understand that. Now. I brought up my knee, aiming for his nuts, smiling with glee. Oh, Alpha, this is going to hurt. A lot.
You can listen to the rest of the book in the Tempt Romance Audiobooks app, available on the App Store and Google Play. The link to the book is in the description. Discover even more bestsellers and exclusive stories updated weekly, only in Tempt Romance Audiobooks.